Hey, friends, I just wanted to come on here and correct something and point something out thanks to one of y'all in the comments. But first off, I want to share what happened. If you watched my last video where I was reading messages between Nick and his ex that he was kind of having a little online side fling with while he was with Gypsy Rose, and we were reading messages from February 2014. And the girl started talking about her ex and being afraid of him, not Nick, another ex. And they started talking about how they could be violent against him. And Nick said, well, he's a Taurus. And for a Taurus, they're very protective of their neck. I would go for the neck. And I had a moment where I said, oh, I hope Dee Dee wasn't a Taurus. And I did a quick search, and I should not have been fooled by this, but I was. Let me show y'all what I found. I know better normally than to go by an AI summary, but I was focused on reading those messages. I did a quick search. I saw this and I was like, "Oh good, she's not a Taurus," and moved on. Now, had I been using my brain, friends, I would remember that we literally all just posted things for Dee Dee on her birthday recently. I just wasn't thinking about that at the time. So I really appreciated when one of y'all corrected me here in the comments. Thank you, Ray Denny. When this comment came in, I immediately went and Googled again, got the same result, and then went straight to her Wikipedia page, scrolled down until I actually found it. And I remembered, well, duh, millennial, we just all celebrated Dee Dee's birthday not long ago, everyone in their own way as they were comfortable. She is a Taurus. So, with that being said, I want to go back to Nick's messages that I was reading with his ex. Okay, Nick's ex, Caitlin, had just told him that her ex was texting her that she's afraid of him, that he wants to come get her and their child, and she is telling him she doesn't want him to come, and he's not accepting it. Nick said in reply, and this is February 12th, 2014. Here we go again, bullshit round two. Caitlin, it seems you will never have a chance to be protected by me, even though if my vampire half of me came out around him, he would look like nothing to it, but it seems that chance of that happening is too slim. Unfortunately, I wish it wasn't as slim as it is, but it seems to be that way, and you know damn well I wish I could protect you from him, but you are too far away. Caitlin says, I've got people that would be around if his bitch ass ever shows his face around here. Sissy bitch ain't got a clue what he's getting himself into. Haha. Nick says, "Hun, okay, I just want you to be safe, and it wouldn't take people if you were around me. It would take a person to deal with him, and believe me, he wouldn't want to deal with my other half, hun." Caitlin says, "Okay, but the thing is, you're there and I'm here. I know his weak points myself. Wink face. Don't assume I never thought about using them against him. Tongue face." Nicholas says, "And what do you plan on doing, hun? Obviously, I am the only one you can trust with anything you were to say, so I'm curious. Tell me what you are planning on doing, hun." Caitlin says, "His knees are screwed up and so is his back." Caitlin says, "Take his knees out and he falls and possibly blows another vertebrae." Nick says, "Hun, Taurus care more about their neck than anything. So you could also try and choke him till he passes out, since, well, that would really freak him out. Just saying this, since I know he is the opposite of what a true Taurus is supposed to be. As you know, I am the true Taurus, dear." We all remember the back of Dee Dee's neck, right? Caitlin says, he's not too worried about his neck. Nick says, "Hun, if you didn't know, Tarians are prone to getting infections in the throat, more so than any other sign. Think about that, because you'll learn if you attack his throat, he'll truly hate you." Nick says, "Just telling you this because I know he is a Taurus just like me, and I should know what another one would truly hate." Caitlin says, "He's threatened to blank his throat before, nothing new." Nick says, "Hun, and if you didn't realize it, he didn't do it because it means more to him than you obviously. You, hun, I know how a Taurus thinks. If you want to be effective, go at his throat. If you want to do what you said, go ahead, and just know, though, that if you want him to hate you enough to be afraid of you, you'll follow my advice." Nick says, "I know that if I had a chance to go at him and I went at his throat, he would wig out. I know he would believe me. I know a Taurus's true weakness spiritually, not just physically, but spiritually. So I would break him down to where he would be afraid to be around you ever again, hun." Caitlin says, "I'm reading your message." Nick says, "Answer when you can then, hun." Caitlin says, "Interesting, LOL." Nick says, "It's true, hon. I've had more throat problems than problems with anything else. He might have never told you, but I'm sure he has had throat problems too. All Taurians are prone to it, so I know what I'm talking about here, dear." Caitlin says, smile. Nick says, "I like that. What are you thinking, hun? Smile." Caitlin says, don't ask if you don't want to know, lol. Nick says, "I really want to know. That's why I was smiling, hun." And Caitlin says, "LOL, not saying anything online about it. LOL." They go back and forth a little bit, and then Caitlin says, "Was reading statuses because I don't need evidence pointing at me if something happens to him." Tongue face. Nick says, "Are you at least planning to tell me on the phone then, since I don't see any reason for you to hide what you plan from the one you have trusted more than any other man?" And she says, "Yes, I plan to." And she says, "Hurry up, tongue face, wink face." And when I was putting together the videos from the FOIA copy I got, I wanted to put them together in order grouped by month. As I've said in my post, the best order we can go by is date modified, and that's not always going to be exact. Some of them are dated after the murder of Dee Dee Blanchard, so we know that's not right. But that's all we have to go by. And something I noticed was the video where Nick mentioned he's really good with knives was early on. And it was strange to me how he seemed to be telling Gypsy, "Don't worry, I have plenty of knives." Let's look at it real quick, and I want to know what y'all think. Am I right or am I reaching, friends? Okay, here we go.
Um, well, they call these a Cadillac for a reason. Yeah, I got a big ass, yeah, big freaking wallet. This thing's still intact, even though it's practically falling apart. I haven't had a chance to get a new one. And, sweetheart, like I told you, I'm practically a natural with knives, and I always have one on me. So you know from actual evidence that I always have one on me. I have another one in one of my secret drawers. Otherwise, that's about the only other one. Now, this laptop I'm about to show you is probably what, the 2000 and
So again, maybe I'm reaching, but it just felt like he was answering something she had asked him about knives. And that was only 4 months after they initially started talking on ChristianDatingForFree.com. They started talking there October 2012. That video I just showed, the clip is from March 2013, about 4 months after. I forgot to also add the video clip we just watched was from 9 days before his McDonald's incident arrest. And then we go about a year later to February 2014, and he's having a side chick quest with someone else while supposedly being online committed to Gypsy Rose. And he's talking about attacking Tauruses at their weak point and how it has to be at the neck. And if you don't know what happened to the back of Dee Dee Blanchard's neck, I do not recommend searching the crime scene pics. I don't know if they're still out there unredacted, but periodically someone posts them in a public place to where they come up easily. They eventually get taken down. So it kind of goes back and forth of whether or not they come up easily when you Google, but I don't recommend it. But after the stabs, which the autopsy concluded were what actually ended Dee Dee Blanchard's life, there was a cut to the back of her neck that went almost to the vertebrae. And when I realized how early on in their video exchanges Nick said, "I'm a natural with knives," it brought me back to something I've always wondered about the interrogation that I've always found strange. Let me show y'all, friends.
Okay. So she wasn't having didn't have a bunch of covers on her. It made it a lot easier to do that. Okay. And so when she's laying there, where's the first place you decide to stab?
and I just was in a random spot in the back.
In the back, just random.
Yes.
Do you know how many times you stabbed her?
4.
You stabbed her 4?
Yeah, 4 times.
Okay.
The fourth one, I felt it go into. I think it might have been her lungs.
Okay.
Because it was harder to get out.
Okay. Did it take one hand to get it out? 2 hands?
I had to yank it out.
Okay.
With one hand.
Okay. So it did. So the others came out easy, but that one kind of came out harder.
Yep.
I know the main focus on that portion of his interrogation has always been on the fact that he said 4 stabs. I've personally always wondered also, how did he know that it went into a lung, because I'm pretty sure that corresponded with the autopsy report too. I don't know if Nick participated in any kind of hunting with his family where he might have had legitimate experience with that, and I'm not trying to imply that this wasn't Nick's first time or anything like that. I'm just curious how he knew that. It doesn't feel to me like something a person doing that to a living thing, be it human or animal, for the first time would think to know that it was hard to pull out because it was in a lung. Anyway, friends, if y'all think I'm reaching, like I always say, that's okay. Let me know in the comments. We will go out with a palate cleanser. We'll just go out looking at cats, friends. I hope everyone's having a good day.